Let's make sure we're all set. Hello, everyone, if you are there. Want to make sure it's coming through. Aha. All right, we are live. We did it.
Great. Yay.
Okay. Good evening, all you cool cats and kittens, as what's her face would say from Tiger King. I forgot her name. Thank you guys for coming on and for your patience for those few seconds of trying to get, internet life together. And like I've said before, in any video that you guys have watched through Captivate TV, sometimes I am a challenged person when it comes to the technical arts. And tonight is no exception at that. If you guys would be so kind as to take 1 second and share, tag a friend and let them know that this is going on, that would be so awesome. Number one, I would appreciate that. Number two, I'm sure Dr. Judy Shaw would appreciate that. And number three, your friends, your families, those who are on your feed and on your page, they would appreciate that too, because after everything that we talked about with healing for the holidays, and after everything said with all the topics brought up, tonight is going to be an amazing culmination of, just get it togetherness in life. And I really am so glad to end this this way. Just because I can, I probably should grab that. I'll wait. Just because I can, I'm going to tell you guys how this whole thing even started. Okay. So, it was a couple months back. I want to say at the end of November, I think, or the middle of November. And no, like end of October or something like that, and beginning of November. And something popped up, and I was just so I'm not even gonna get into the full gamut of it. I was so bared down by I was just dealing with so much. Everything was heavy. I was like, oh my gosh, it was dealing with family, it was dealing with myself, it was dealing with just my emotions, just a lot of things. And I called Dr. Shaw and I was like, oh my goodness, my life is falling apart. Oh, this part, my family here, me there, I don't know how I fit, my debt, like just all these things were coming together. And she, being the amazing person that she is, she talked me through a whole, just with a few nuggets that she said, like it wasn't even a full dissertation, just being herself. She talked me through that moment. And afterwards, like at the very end of that, I was like, you know what? There should be something that promotes healing during the holiday season, because it's coming up and da-da-da-da. And lo and behold, here we had healing for the holidays. And she was on the phone like when it first came up. And I was like, I don't care what else happens. You are going to be my star on top of the tree. Like you have to be the closer, So this is what it all is coming to. And I'm super excited that it all worked out, and that, you're just who you are, and that our paths crossed, and just everything, everything is so gravy, and I'm glad. So, yay. So yeah, I want to jump into it. We had these conversations. We had talked about communication first. Dr. Judy, we talked about death, we talked about loss, we talked about forgiveness, we brought up we talked about marriage, family issues, we talked about becoming well, and missing one. All those things were talked about with health professionals and things like that. But now I strategically placed intentional living at the end, because no matter any of those topics and what you delve into, if you're not intentional about it, why talk about it? Why jump into it? What is the purpose of it? And so I want you to share with us we're going to get into this conversation. I want you to really speak on the topic of intentional living. And, with those things that were brought up and with those conversations that were had, and as people are dealing with these things with during the virus, during the, this political time, during this this change and this new year, everything going on, where does the topic, or where does the whole point of intentional living come into play, and how do we put that into action?
First of all, Jess, so good to be on this program with you. And kudos to you. And as a matter of fact, you didn't tell the whole story.
I did not. What I missed.
was really the intention of, from your thoughts and our thoughts as we were speaking together in Atlanta, that I said, we have, we got to do something with this.
Yeah, you
We
did.
got we need a program, we need a show, and it was already in your heart to do something like this, if you remember.
Yeah.
And what you did is a reflection. This program is a reflection of intentional living and intentional transformation, because what you did, you jumped right on it. It was really, what I say intentional living or intentional transformation is, it's a call to action. We were not just talking about good topics or good things. We said it's time to do something. It was a call to action. And I just want to put that out first, that this show is a call to action, because you put to action what we were talking about. And it's something that you really, really wanted to do. And whatever sacrifices, you didn't give up any excuses. You didn't give me an excuse. You didn't take an excuse for yourself. You didn't say, oh, I can't do it. It's too late. I need more time. You jumped in it. The holiday season. We said the holiday season. What an apropos time to do it.
Yeah.
And you didn't give any excuse. You just did it. And I want to say that to our listening audience. You just got to do it. You know, it's enough of talking. We got wonderful ideas, wonderful thoughts. But until we get real serious about our living, about our life purpose, about our dreams, about God's intention for our lives, we'll never see the kind of living that God has promised us. And number one, it's called abundant life, not just life. It's called abundant life. It's called you're the head and not the tail. It's called whatever desire you want in my will, it's yours. And so, you know, this program is a reflection, is a result of intentional living, because you made that change and said, I'm going to do it. Can I get some claps or something to say, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Some of you that are already on, come on, I'm going to do it, because this show is going to really encourage you to do it. And when we use the word intentional, I want to say this just right off the hand, as I said in my book, Intentional Transformation, that it's one thing to have good intentions, because we all have good intentions, you know. Something that my dad used to say, Jess, and I thought it was his own, but I found out later it wasn't his own. So he used to say, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So what he was saying is, you can have all the good intentions you want, but if you don't have what I call intentionality, if you don't have a desire and a final resolve that this is the way I'm going to live, the road to intentionality, the road and good intentions, the road to hell, Hell,
that one
is paved with good intentions. And so we want to move from having good intentions, which is really wishful thinking, good thoughts. I should, one day I am going to, I suppose, maybe I will. A lot of people had good intentions on being on tonight, but they allow something else to get in their way and they're not here. Just an example. But when you have intentionality and you have made a decision, you've come to a final resolve that, you know, this is my planning. This is what I'm going to do without excuse, without failure. I'm going to make sure that I do whatever it is that whatever your goal is. And so we move from good intentions to, I'm going to do this and I'm going to abide by no excuses. And I'm not going to let anything, any distractions, a big one, or anything, or even my own crazy mind stop me from going to where I know that I'm supposed to be. So it's a final resolve. Intentionality is a final resolve. It's, you've looked at what you want to do. You've counted up the costs. You have decided, I'm going to pay this ticket. I'm going to buy this ticket. And it's not going to be easy because, as I say, easy will never take you where hard will take you. And so you have to make a decision that it's going to be some stuff. It's going to be some disappointments that will come on this journey. But you have come to a final resolve that I am going all the way, and whatever gets in my way, I'm just going to move it out the way
Yeah.
and knock it out the way. So it's a final resolve that you come to.
Let me take a second and thank you guys who are watching, Chanel, Richie, Natisha, Laree, and please, if I have horribly or slightly butchered your name, just know that it's my bad. Christina Smith, Kim Baker, Pernita Carter, Anitra Starks, Christina Smith. I already called you Christina Smith. You got 2 calls, right? And yeah, Christina replying to Christina saying, Chanel Richie, we're going to do it all this time, cousin. We're going all the way. Come on, family together.
Come on, somebody. Yes.
That's right. Pull a family member with you. Pull a sister. Pull a brother. Tag a husband or a friend. Be like, this is we're gonna do it. I really do like that teamwork. That's dope. I appreciate that. I got a question for you, Dr. Shaw, Dr. Judy. What can you tell someone or a person who's saying, you know what, you're right. I have to be intentional. I have to do it. In my head, I'm a visual person. Like I see cartoons in my head, which is why I watch them too much. It's an issue. But I see in my head a person trying to fit all of their intentions, all their work into this funnel, and it has this little bitty tunnel at the bottom. And they're trying to do all that stuff. What can be said to a person who says they want to be intentional, but they don't know how to process, how to take that first step, how to funnel it, how to shuffle it through, how to go through it? What are some words to speak directly to that person trying to fit all that stuff into that itty bitty tunnel? Funnel. Okay.
I'm going to just push pause for that and digress. And I'm going to say to you, Jess, would you kind of let my people know who you are? We just jumped on the yes, and I need them to know who you are, because you are somebody very special, making a great contribution, being a model of intentional living. So just quickly, please do that for me.
Yeah. My name is Jessica. Jessica Mayfield. I live currently in Atlanta. Just relocated, a year ago from Kansas City and originally from California. So I'm well traveled. New mom and married to an amazing husband. It'll be 6 years in February. But I started this wonderful, wonderful channel called Captvate TV about 2 months ago almost. And this is something that I believe is a humdinger for my heart. If that's a phrase, I'm going to make it one. And our tagline is worth your time. I want to present things that are worth people's time. And so I've taught preschool for a while. I was a youth teacher, youth leader. I've done a lot of things. I'm a jack of all trades, but I've always known that my heart is for people's hearts. My heart is for people to understand. When you can take time and teach a 2 and 3 year old life lessons, and it is something that's in your heart, and you can correlate that to life lessons for an adult, and it's something that's in your heart, then I feel like I've been vetted already. Once you can be in a classroom with 2 and 3 year olds and survive and know that you made a difference, then might be a little bit more for me to know I want to make a difference somewhere else. And I want to do it with people who know how to use forks and spoons correctly, so it's okay for me to go to the next phase. But that's a little bit about myself. I don't know if I missed something that you need me to say. You need to tell me.
Well, you did mention your amazing husband, Aaron,
he's watching.
Oh yeah, I mean, just many of you know the Mayfield brothers. They're musicians all over the place. And then she comes from an amazing family. For some of you that are online, you may not know Jess, but certainly you've heard of her dad, Bishop Jerry Macklin from California, one of the general board members of Kojic. So, and we're not just PKs, we're like PKs, we're BKs, right? We're Bishop kids. But anyway, we have something to say. And I'm so happy again that you have made this step and you did it so quickly. And as a result, I promise you, many people are going to be so encouraged to do what you're doing. And I want to encourage you that are on the channel today, that there is a grace, there is a push, there's great, wonderful energy on here. And there's certainly, I believe, God's intention for you to get to moving. I just give you a push through the screen right now. So the question was asked me about, how do you get it to funnel down pretty much to get started? Am I right? In a nutshell?
In a nutshell.
when you have so many things. And I can think of one person that I'm talking to right now, and that's my niece Christina. She got so many things that she can do, and and we're going to talk. She's going to get me on this, but
That's
she
okay.
can narrow it down and put it in one place,
Yeah.
or so we can get started. And so I say to you, with a lot of other people that are in this business of motivating you in self-development, is that you concentrate on one thing. We may be good at a whole lot of things, but we have to start's got to start someplace with one thing. And you really, really, really want to get to be a master of that one thing. And you really want to pull all your energy into that one place you're going. And I would say this, that if it's not going towards that one direction, it's in the way. And it could be good stuff. It could be good stuff. Even some of you that had desires to do something more than what you're doing right now, because really statistics show that many people that are working a job, 47% of them are not working in their field. And then a lot of others, 27% of them don't even use the degree that they have today.
Wow.
So there's a reason for that, because we let things distract us. Sometimes it's the peer pressure from our family. I want you to be a doctor. I want you to be a lawyer. I want you to be a pastor. And it's not really what we want to do. So I would say to hone in and to thine own self be true,
Right.
and know and say to yourself as you look in the mirror, this is my life and I'm going to do me. And I'm responsible for how I live. And then you have to make a decision to break away from other noises and other voices and say, this is what I'm going to do. And then you realize that there's a lot of clutter in the way. And it's clutter. Call it what it is. It may be good clutter. It may be a good idea, but it's stopping you from doing that one main thing that you are good at, that you're called to do, and
Right.
that you really want to do. So I would say to you, just get that one thing. Just get that one thing and kill it and work it and work it.
Yeah. And just do that. It's funny you mentioned that. Like, we had the conversation on family dynamics, and Dr. Chanel was my guest for that night. And she brought up the topic between her and Aaron and I have a counselor. He started counseling after his mom passed last year, in the middle of last year. And so he became our regular counselor. And between a conversation with Dr. Chanel and with our counselor, they mentioned something about folks who are adults but still have parents. Obviously, a lot of people. But he said, if a parent says, hey, I want you to do something, and you're an adult, are you obligated to do that? And I had thought about it. I was like, I mean, yeah, it's my parent. They're like, well, no, you still have an obligation to your own life. You are not 12 anymore. You are not 14 anymore. You are not, like, you are responsible. So it is not a disrespect, or it is not a anything to your parent to make your own choice or your own decision. But it's just a matter of however you were reared, however you were raised, or whatever type of environment you were brought up in. That may come with guilt. That may come with shame. That may come, you have all these obstacles that come towards you, but yet and still you have your responsibility to your life and to your decisions, regardless of the parents, regardless, like you said, the track of life that they may want you to take after you full grown adult. Folks got kids. Folks got grandkids and are still subjecting themselves to their parents or to their grandparents. And it's like at some point, it's a thing of your responsibility, your life, your choices, you make it,
That is so true. And to your point, a lot of people live under guilt, that they're not, still connected to the wishes of their parents, or they're under guilt. And I would even say they're under a control. And I mean, we just need to call it what it is so people can be free. And then if we're not careful, we don't mature and we allow ourselves to be under that control, because we have not moved into a place of our own self. We're still wanting that parent relation. That's when we were little. So
that approval.
And that's the word. And we have to identify that, and we have to own that. And we have to decide to move away from that, because it's not only what we want to do, but there is an original intention. There was a God's plan for us. There's a God purpose. There's a life purpose that before we were in our mother's womb, God already knew who we were going to be and what he had planned for us. And
Right.
so sometimes those voices can get in the way of God's plan for our lives
Mm.
because we're not allowing that to develop. And I always say we don't determine our destiny, but we discover it because it's God's plan.
Yeah.
And we find ourselves moving into it as it unfolds.
I've never said this on social media before, so this is great. When I was, I think Aaron and I were dating at the time because Aaron talked about me and laughed at me. I called myself starting to preach more, like pulpit preach more. Okay. But I did it at the conventions. And if you look up on YouTube, you'll find some very great and embarrassing videos of me calling myself.
What?
Yeah, I know. I know. You can't look right now. You can't look right now because you're on this call. So you're trapped. But yes, at some point I was, and here's the thing. This is where the intention part comes in at. I was doing what I am called to do, which is share with people. But I was trying to do it in a way that I thought was the lane I was supposed to go into. So I was pushing, I had the right baggage, but I was in the wrong car. Like I had the right equipment, but I was going the wrong, and so it was a conflict because I was like, I know I'm fulfilling part of it, but I'm not doing it the right way. So long story short, it was one year in AIM, or no, it might have been convocation, and I was youth service. And if anybody's watching was that in the convention, it was a hot mess this one night. I was emceeing, and it was supposed to be, a high time in Jesus. And my dad walks in the back of the church, with, the group, because, you gotta have the security. It's convocation time. And so I see my dad because he knows I'm emceeing. He's all proud in his face. And I'm just like the little girl, just lit up. And I'm like, this is great. I'm doing stuff. And oh my gosh. And it's not like my dad said, you need to go MC. No,
Right.
It's just, I was just walking and doing something, fulfilling what I thought I was doing. And also bringing, joy to my life because I'm bringing joy to him. Oh, Dr. Judy Shaw. I got up there and I was like, come on, everyone. And I sound it. Let me just tell it this way. Nothing fit. I did not fit. It did not sound right. That's not for me. I don't holler. I don't poop. And it was such a thing that to this day, once my husband realizes that I told this story, I'm going to get the whole rerun of the story again. It was so awkward for me because I was doing something. I was pushing hard. But I was really fulfilling the wrong way, the wrong thing. Like nothing matched, and it didn't gel and it didn't mesh. So coming up, bringing Captivate TV, this fits so well. I don't have to try, but I'm pushing hard, and I'm teaching the way that I teach. I don't have to try, but I'm pushing hard. It matches, it gels, and it meshes,
Wow. You just said what we all know. Find your lane and stay in your lane.
Drive it.
Find your niche and work it well. And I think that's all a part of knowing who we are and what our identity is, what our gifts are, and then really listening to that inner voice. It's just like you said, nobody made you. It's just what you felt you should be doing. And then it's nothing wrong with us getting good instructions or getting good guidance or direction from our authorities, our parents, because that's what they're supposed to do. Guide us and lead us, until we find the right place. And so, you would not be doing what you were doing right now if you had not had the foundation that you have. I would not be doing what I'm doing right now if we didn't all have the foundation and the direction to lead us. But then there is a time, even like God told Jeremiah, he was working in the temple. He was doing something. He just says, I got a different position for you, and Jeremiah was like, I'll play in your ball game, but not that field, Lord. I don't want to do that field. I don't want to play that role. But he knows he's the divine intruder, and he knows when the time is. He calls the time and the seasons, and he knows when we're up next. And I'll say to you are up next, and you're there. And I'll say to those that are listening, you're up next. That's right. You are up next, and you need to take your rightful place in the circle of life. And so you can make your contribution because things are getting closer to the end as never before. And if not now, then when? And I think that we all know that if we have a name and we all have a birth name, there is an assignment attached to our name. And if you're all over the place, and let me just speak to that right now. If you're all over the place and you're doing all of these things, and oh, that's nice, that's good, you need to. It's time to come on, bring it on in, and to get serious and intentionality. And talking about intentional living, it's when you're really, really serious about your life purpose and about your life. When you're really ready to look at the sacrifices or the disciplines that you have to do to accomplish what you have to do, and not something that's convenient or something that's nice or comfortable, or it's time now to, as we would say, be about that kind of business, whether it's our Father's business or our own business. It's time to know who we are and walk in that, so we can get the fulfillment of the call that's on our life and what God has for us.
Yeah, most definitely. Carla Bowman Taylor says, I'm up next. So it's quite obviously she knows though she's already walking in. And Chanel Ritchie said, so good. Start with the foundation and go with God for your unique calling. Unique is the key.
Unique.
If we all had the same calling.
Oh my
what's
God.
the point?
Oh my God. Don't see, and that's a problem, especially with us as being females. We were wonderfully and marvelously, imago Dei, the Greek says, we were made in the image of God, and we all have our uniqueness. We are uniquely designed by God. So we don't have to compete. Come on, somebody. And we don't have to compare, but we can say, I do that sometimes. Jess, I do a women's conference on Proverbs 31. And I use that scripture in the 18th verse where it says, and she perceives, okay? And she knows something. You got to know something. And she perceives, not anybody else, but she perceives that her merchandise is good.
Right.
And I'm telling you, we have to put our hands on our own hips with an attitude, shake
let our backbone slip.
My merchandise is good. And it may not be what yours is, but my merchandise is good. You may not could holler like nobody else or whatever, but whoever you are, God made you to be unique in this earth and to give your handprint and your thumbprint to the world so we can see who you are as God has made you. Come on, somebody say my merchandise is good. Right. Which means that you don't have to de-evaluate yourself, that you're good, And a lot of times the lies come to us and we believe the lies. The enemy, he'll tell the person that's loud, you too loud. He'll tell the person that speaks soft, you speak too soft. He'll tell the person that's heavy, oh, you too heavy. He'll tell the person that's skinny, oh, you too thin. I mean, just lies. Yeah. And it keeps us from our intentionality. So, be who you are. Celebrate who you are. Love who you are, because God loves who you are. And whoever you are, God is ready for you to make your contribution intentionally. Go after it. Right. I hope you leave this session today saying, I am going after it. I am going after it.
One thing I know for myself, I've always been a type of jumbled person in the brain sometimes, to where I have to write things down. I have to jot down. I have millions of notes in my phone. I've got millions of notepads. I feel like my intentionality, the things that I actually go after, a lot of times is connected to my hand and what I write down. So I could sit in class and I could, listen to my teacher talk, but when I take notes and I'm processing it, I'm going, it's going through a system through myself, and it's implanted saying, okay, I'm intentionally listening, but I'm also putting in effort to remember that and actually put it into play. Okay. Now, after that, if I actually studied and did well on the test, that's another part, but it was the first step of that intentionality. One thing I think that people can do, and we've mentioned it on any other conversation from Captvate TV, is to write some of these things down. Write the plans out, write the ideas out, write the steps out. How you said, how you write those things out, and write those steps out. Like you said, not trying to put too many things in the funnel, make sure you're focused. What's that one thing you're doing? And if it's not about that one thing, put it on pause. It's in the way. I think for myself, what I know that I've had to do and what it has helped other people has been really making sure that I am listing and seeing what I need to step into and how I need to step into it, and seeing that reminder every day, what's on my list, what's on my to-do list that goes with what I'm being intentional about. That's a big thing, and even how they were bringing in partners, bring in a friend to be that one. Okay, what's on your list today? Are you tackling your number one? Okay, what's your number one? All right, let's do our number one. All those things like that. Yes, ma'am.
So one of the things that you do when you're intentional is that you have to plan. I have 4 points in my book about being intentional. And one is you have a goal and you have charted the course toward it. You have calculated the cost and you've decided to pay it. You have studied and devised a strategy, okay, to move forward. And so nothing is just going to happen. Nothing is just going to happen. You have to have a plan and you have to chart out a strategy and that's what intentionality is with intention, that everything is deliberate. It's on purpose.
Yeah.
And I think that's when we get more into that mindset and that kind of thinking, we'll find ourselves making progress.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's the plan. Get up, and like you said, in the morning, I was just doing that yesterday. Just wrote down what my day is, and then already next week, I've already got the plan. And
Right.
so it's going to keep me on course. Intentionality keeps you on track. It keeps you focused. And if you have that plan in front of you, and that's why people do vision boards. You
Right.
gotta
Right.
have a plan. And many of you know that. I want to say, now do it. Now
Yeah.
do it.
It's the
Yeah.
time.
Not the potential. It's time. Do it. Yeah.
Right. Natisha Laree said, I'm the same way. I have to write everything down or it won't get done, period. So that planning is key. And Anitra Stark said, accountability with someone is necessary. I have a question about accountability partner.
That's good.
When it comes to an accountability partner, when should you find when do you stop that? I want to be so nice about this. Well, let me set it up like this. If you are saying I'm going to the gym and here's my accountability partner, Jill, all right, and you guys are working out together. When Jill starts to slow down and start not coming and this and that, at what point do you cut off that partner and say this partner is no longer keeping me accountable? At what point do you cut that off? Because you want to have a partner, but if that partner is not, is not keeping you accountable and you're having to drag them, at what point do you do that?
Come on, put the answer in the chat, and I'm going to answer too. Number one, there's a time when you have to get selfish about you, and so I did the thing that you just played as you introduced this session, feelings. You can't
Yeah.
get in your feelings.
I
You
was like,
can't get in your feelings. Well, I don't want. No, this is about you, and I'm
Yeah.
not going to let nobody stop my stride. That happened with me. I had an accountability partner that was walking with me every morning, but when she slacked off, I just kept going. I just got, I have, see, that's the resolve. That's the final resolve you come to, that you will abide by no excuses. And that would be an excuse. Well, nobody's calling me. Nobody's reminding me. Oh, I don't have anybody to go with. No, go with yourself, because this is about you. And if
Yeah.
you're going to see that kind of living that you want, that kind of intentional living and that good living, then we have to come to that point of, without any excuse, about abiding with any excuse, and just go and just do it.
What's been one of the most common excuses that you hear?
One of the most I don't have I don't have anybody to help me. I don't have anybody to help me has been one, and then it depends on what your narrative of your life is with kids. He's, well, my kids, and then if you're married, it's my husband. It's always going to be something,
Yeah. In the way.
If you're single, it's going to be, I need help. I need a helpmate. And if you're married,
I don't need help.
Come on now. It's going to be, I got so it's always going to be something.
Yeah.
But you just know that you got to find a way around that.
Yeah.
You have to find a way to, don't even try to balance. You'll never balance. You just got to juggle. You just got to juggle. You just got to juggle. And so when you begin to know that I'm not going to let anything stop me. That's intentional. That's intentionality. It's just the new mindset we got to get, that
Yeah.
nothing will stop me. I mean, you have to talk to yourself, just like, uh, and she perceived, no matter what nobody else thought about her, that her merchandise was good. And
Yeah.
even if you just let me go to the scripture real quick, the woman with the issue of blood, she said within herself, if I can just touch the
Hmm.
hem of his garment, she said within herself.
Right.
There's some things that we have to say within ourselves. And again, blind Bartimaeus, they said, stop, leave him alone, get away. He said, no, I'm a scream louder, son
Mm.
of David. So there's some things that we have to do ourselves, and that we to push ourselves through
Yeah.
so that we can get to where we're going.
Right. Yeah. That determination doesn't come from anybody else but what you decide. Your level
Ah,
of determination. That's I bought that. I made that. I created that. I pushed that. So I think there's people, and I know for myself, like you said, I don't have anybody else. One of my excuses that I would use is I don't have someone pushing me right now. Well, someone needs to help me do that part, or someone needs to, start my fire for me. You know, I used to run track, and to answer your question, no, I wasn't that great. But but our league was small, and so I was kind of fast. And what would happen is that I would run hurdles. I would run the 100-meter hurdles, and it was the same girl. I remember what she looked like. Don't remember her name. I would run against the same girl, and it was just about four of us in the meet in that race. And we would always finish. We'd always be neck and neck and neck. And towards the end, she would pull up a little bit, and I would just stay, oh man. And I would always come in second behind that same girl. One of the last meets that I remember, all of a sudden towards the end of that race, we were hitting those hurdles, hitting the hurdles. And all of a sudden she started slipping back, or I started to speed up. I got encouraged by that, and I started to push, and I actually ended up winning. And I was glad about it. But a few years later, I processed it and I thought about it. I said, what a hot mess. This entire time I had the ability to win, but it took me to have to see somebody lose next to me for me to think that I could win. And it was like I needed something else to spark the fire for me. And I was glad about the win. But when I
wow.
was like, why didn't that win come for me in the first place? Why didn't I just push myself to just win in the first place? Why did it have to take somebody else losing for me to start my fire and win? Feel like I'm winning.
We are individually, we're the most important person in our transformation. And
Right.
it's scary because, self-transformation, it's a quote from Shannon Adler, that's a journey, that it's the scariest because it causes you to look at you and deal with you and to make them decisions. You are the gatekeeper.
Yeah.
You are the one to say when and say what, as Pretty Woman said. I say when, I say where, I say how. We're the ones that are the gatekeepers.
Yeah.
And so and if we don't do it, my dear daughter said, Anita, she said, don't, your outcome is too big to put in somebody else's hands.
Right.
Your life is too important. Your outcome is too important to put into anybody's else's hand.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with that. We have to take our life back.
Hmm.
We have to take our life back. Come on, everybody. Let's take our life back,
Yeah. Yeah.
and just know that we have help.
Mhm.
We were made in the image of God. We have
Right.
we have his attributes. We have his creativity. We have his genius. We have he made us so we can co-create. We
Mhm.
have it on the inside. Peter said that everything that pertains to life and godliness, we have it. We have the
Yeah.
nature of God. So we really don't have any excuse if we don't want it. So, they said you got to ask the right question. And the right question today is, do you really want what you say you want?
Because
Do
if
you
that's true,
really want what you say you want? Yeah. Because if so, yeah, that's kind of like, Peter, do you love me? Lord, you kidding me? You know I love you. Peter, do you love me?
right.
So he had to call him on the carpet.
Yeah.
If you love me, then you would prove it. You would
Yeah.
show me. you know. And to also to go back to what you were talking about, accountability, and we get some good. Oh, you guys are doing great with the comments. I just put my glasses on so I can see y'all come on. I'm gonna be looking at these comments myself and adding to my stuff by y'all
Right.
choices. So good, yeah, Anitra, so good. But here's one important, and some of you that have the book know that community is paramount.
Yeah.
You know, when do you cut away from those people, or when do you be around people that will help you? You got to find your right community. You got to find your right people with, as we would say, with the same DNA, that want to go, you know, do more than what you're doing now, what they're doing now, just like
Yeah.
you want to go further. You got to find those kind of people that you can trust,
Right.
you know, that they will be accountable. And not only when you want to hear them tell you something good, but when they need to get in your face and tell you, you know,
Get
stop it,
it together.
tell you it's what you're doing. It's
Yeah.
time. That's an excuse. We gotta tell people. We gotta call them on it. But you have to have the right person that you
Right.
can do that with, that love you. That's a safe place. That's another thing. You know, you can't. There's people that do this all the time and they like drama. You stay away from
Making
them.
and
It's not your,
acting right.
listen. They're not your community. Anybody that like a lot of drama, they're not your community.
They're just
Stay
there for
away from them.
information. That's all they want. They want an
Yeah.
inside scoop.
And they
That's
can't
it.
help. You need somebody to help you. You
Yeah.
need someone that's even further than where you are, so they can pull you up.
Mm-hmm.
And then those that walk alongside you,
Mm.
yeah, look beside you, so you can hold hands with them, and
Yeah.
they can say, "Come on, we can make it. We
Yeah.
can make it. We
Yeah.
can make it." So yes, work on your community. Work on,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to be 5. It doesn't have to be 10. It could be. It could be. If it's 5, it's a wonderful number. You know, because there's wisdom in the counsel of many. But
Yeah.
if you just have to do 2 or you just 1 right now,
And build that.
find that person that will encourage you, and will not tell you just what you want to hear, and have a pity party with you. Don't be around people that want to have a pity party with you and that's going to agree with you. You'll never get any place. You
Never.
know, you intentionality is work, baby. It's work. It's moving.
That
It's
is that.
moving.
Woo.
Yeah,
That scares people.
it
Work,
does.
hard work really is all you got to do is put you know, there's hard work beyond this door. And you got folks that'll run away and say, oh, never mind. I don't want to do that. Like hard work really is something that is a deterrent to a lot of people, you know,
Yes.
because it's easier to say, I'll just fill in the blank with whatever. Like, and I was just thinking about that today, like just justing the whole field of just I'll just this or I'll just that or I'll just whatever, like
Right.
adjusting to your effort level instead of adjusting to your goal. You know, what is your goal? Like, don't just whatever, like really push and go beyond the just, you know.
Right.
That's a t-shirt. We need t-shirts.
Oh, come on now. I know somebody on this line that can do that for us too. Yeah.
Look at you.
Talk for a minute. I'm gonna plug in my thing. Just talk for a
Yeah.
minute.
Yeah. Guys, if you are on here, I want to ask you a very cool question. Who have you made responsible of your life? You know, who have you made responsible of your decisions? Who have you made responsible of this is just 2.0. Who have you made responsible of anything like that? You know, at some point, like Dr. Judy said, at some point it is your decision. At some point it is your job to take control of your life and make that decision for your life. I know for myself, I'm just being honest, at points I've made my husband responsible for my decisions in my life. I've made my family responsible. I've made teachers responsible. I've made any of those things like that, you know, but as Dr. Judy was saying, you really have to take that step and make it, you know, do the hard work and do it on your own. I, at that point, took the responsibility from them. I said, it's not your job to push my life. It is my job to push my life. And I took that responsibility off of my husband. I took it off of my family. I took it off of my job. I took it off of the kids in my classroom, you know, and I really took that step. Like, even you can put responsibility on anybody. It doesn't mean they'll carry it for you, but you can put it on them, you know. And it really became a thing of, what am I going to do for my life? What decisions am I going to make for my life?
There's
And
a question. There's a question, Jess.
did I
Were
miss
you
it?
finished? Were you done?
I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done on that part. What's up?
Christina Smith question
I'm
on the
ready.
other end of the community. what if the person you're trying to encourage, what if the person you're trying to encourage and pull up is always resistant to it and takes your pushes wrong? What shall we do then? So you're trying to encourage someone and you're trying to push them, but they take it wrong.
Oh, me? I'm first? Okay, cool. I'm
Yeah.
ready. There, you can't make yourself responsible for how people respond to your care for them. You know, like you care enough, number one, to want to have more for somebody. Like I want them to go higher. I'm seeing that on them. I'm trying to encourage them, trying to push them or whatever. But if a person is not taking it in the way that you're giving it, and you're not being brash about it, you're not being, you're not being persnickety about all those things, and it's not being perceived the right way, at some point you can't take the responsibility of what can I do to make them understand it, because you are then taken away from your own push, your own, energy that you could be putting into this, that pearls, swine. At some point, you got pearls.
Yeah.
You can put on your pearls and walk away. You don't want to waste. You are all dressed up and nowhere to go. You keep going. You dressed up going to Walmart. Get dressed up. Go to the nice mall today. Treat yourself over there, because whoever's over there, although you care for them, they are not in a position or a place, and ready to receive and activate it on their own. So my 2-cent answer is that, as in, honor your word, honor your effort, and you might have to move that because it's not being received and it's not your fault. 5, 6, 7, 8, not your fault. My sense.
That's good. That's good. And so wonderful comments in there is freedom in holding responsibility for yourself. And to what you were saying, also, that when you begin to understand who you are and where you're going, your tolerance. Yeah. I mean, and you have here it is again, Christina. Feelings. Get out of your feelings because you're worried about what people gonna say.
Yeah.
But you know what? For me, it's almost like I'm not the right person to answer that, because I'm like, it's too late in the evening. I don't have time. My life is important. My outcome is important. And if we're gonna be sheep to be led, then most time you got goats that's kicking and they don't want to make the sacrifice, and your energy is gone out. I would say, do what you can do and do the best you can and that you can live with, and then let it alone.
Yeah.
Because it's just taken away from you, and it's not time for that. I'm telling you, people, it's too late. It's people that sometimes you have to let go until another time. Catch them later. Yeah. You still love them, but you have to catch them later when they're ready, or when they're ready to make some transformation. But when it's your time to change, don't abide by no excuses. Yeah. And if they're and acknowledge if they're not, give them their space. Give them their space. Sometimes it takes us longer. It took us a long time to get here. So give them their space and just say, okay, and just bow out gracefully.
Peace be with you. Let that be. Oh, nice.
And it's not a bad attitude. It's like you said earlier. It's not like I'm going to you don't do it. No, that's just wrong. That's just wrong. It's it's just with the understanding that everybody is not in the same place.
Right.
And you tried. I say that all the time. I tried. I'm done.
And that's it.
I tried. Yeah. And it's
all funny. Good. That's the part. It's all good. No love lost. No bad thing. All that stuff. It's funny. It's funny you mentioned that. Speaking of kids, me and my children I used to work with. One thing that I would see is adults get mad and try to get kids to, oh, give me a hug. Oh, come here. Trying to force them to play with them, or trying to force themselves onto them, like, hey, be my friend, oh, do this over here. One of the things that I've noticed for myself that folks they just love you. I leave kids alone sometimes. Like most of the time, I go into the room and I go be about my business. And all of a sudden, 2 little feet come over and they want to engage over here. what I figured out a lot, like early on when working with kids, is when you try too hard with something, you are automatically, it's just going to be a repellent for some of them.
Yeah.
It is just a repellent, and they're just like, oh, I don't want to. And you see those grandpas and those, oh, come here, and they're just like, oh, and I'm like, no, just sit down and be interesting over there. You will draw people to you who want to engage with you when you are interesting and doing your own thing. Like when you are on point over there, you're going to automatically draw people to you. Yeah. And that's the same thing with kids. You know, they're not going to go to they're going to, oh, what are they doing? They look engaged. They look whatever. And so I learned that from children, but it applied so well as an adult. I was like, man, I need to stop trying to force myself on people or force myself on things. And I spring off like that. And I'm like, no, just be about your own business right now. Yes. You know, like you said, be selfish a bit, you know, and want from that selfishness, although it sounds bad. Oh my God, that's a terrible word. No, it's a conscious word, you know,
word. That's
and just kind of take inventory of yourself and tend to yourself and what needs to come your way and what needs to be grasped. It will already be pulled towards you if you are in that right place.
So good. You know? That was an excellent question, Christina. And there's I was reading the scripture and telling it today, and it's Psalms, you know, the Psalms 119 and 165. Psalms 119 and 165. And it talks about great peace that you have when nothing shall offend you. So when, you know, this is an overall scripture for so much when you're talking about not being stopped or understanding how to keep moving. Don't allow, Pastor Ivan used to say, give no offense, take no offense. So it's kind of like you live in peace if you don't allow people to offend you. You don't have to take that into your spirit. You don't have to let them cut you like that. Just begin to have that peace, great peace that you have if you will allow nothing to offend you. Nothing to offend you. And so that person that may get offended because you got to let them go, just don't let that offend you. Just
water off a duck's back.
Yeah, don't let that offend you. And that's a good thing, I think, if you would take it in. Let nothing, and then it keeps your spirit. I'm one about keeping my spirit right. If your spirit ain't right, you're not gonna make me have a bad spirit because your spirit is not right. No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna keep my spirit because I like my spirit. Because I want to stay connected. And so if you're having a bad day, I'm not going to join you to have a bad day. And if you don't like me, I'm not going to not like you. I'm just going to I'm not going to keep, protect that so you can keep moving. The thing about intentionality is you got to keep moving. You got to be intentional, keep moving, to let nothing, all of these things stop you. And you may not think they're excuses. Call it an excuse because that's what it is.
Right.
Don't face it. Don't put another face on it. Don't say, well, you don't know how I grew up. Listen, we all been redeemed already. Too late. You've been redeemed. Too late. You got grace. Too late. You got strength. So you got to keep it moving. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. As my niece said that to me yesterday. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. And so that's being intentional. Nothing shall stop me.
I love it. I know personally that we could go on for about 2 more hours, but I know that that's not what we're going to do. For those of you guys who are watching and are still on, thank you guys so much. Putting it up here. What are you going to be intentional about in 2021? Write that in the comments. Tag a friend. If you need a partner about it, tag them. Hey, I plan to list something, because you might be intentional about something that somebody needs to be intentional about too. You know, somebody say, I need to work on telling the truth more. I need to work on, my self-care. I need to work on the project that was in the back of my closet I need to work on that. I need to work on, keeping my car clean. I need to work on coming and being more consistent with my Bible studies and my prayer life. I need to work, whatever that is. I need to work on my marriage. I need to work on my social media presence for my business. It can be so many things. It has to be specific to you though, and you have to be intentional about it. So write it down in the chats, tag a friend, make this note in your page, like make this page in your notes and make, today, what is this, January 28th, Thursday. This
Yeah.
is the start of it. I need to be intentional about da 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 da. Write it, jot it down. Dr. Judy, do you have any other words for folks who are on here?
I
Who
do. I really do, because I want everybody really to value and appreciate um, this time, because I'm telling you, I got to give it to you, Jess. If it wasn't for you being intentional, and we've had many conversations since the first conversation,
right.
and we had and and she just had a baby not too long ago, beautiful baby, and the baby would be crying, we'd be talking, and she'd be pushing it through, and she go, well, I don't know. But I mean, and you have to go through these little struggles and this little
Yeah.
thing. But we kept it moving, didn't we? We kept it moving and say, you
Right.
can do this, and we're gonna, the holiday is the best time. And again, I would say what you're listening to, guys, is an example, and she's doing it. And do you think it's great? I think it's great. And so blessings to all of you, and to just keep being intentional, and everything that is for you is for you.
Yeah.
And everything is for you. You can reach out and get it. We have this wonderful luxury, this wonderful privilege of dreaming, wonderful
Yeah.
that God gave us, that we can dream, we can go forth and pursue. So let's do it, and let's be the women of the decade.
Right.
Yeah, so yeah, let's be the
And
women of
do
the
that.
decade. Yes, and do it. Here's an example. Here's an example. All right.
Well,
Okay.
you mentioned before we go, you mentioned her. Let's see if I can. There we go. This is my little girl, by the way.
Yeah.
And that is our baby Gloria Sky,
Gloria.
and 10 months old,
Getting
and
so
just,
big.
oh, I
Wow.
know, 10 months, on the 26th she turned 10 months. So we are right up on a year. We had her right at the beginning of the pandemic, and my goodness, pandemic pregnancy, pandemic birth in the hospital, all of that stuff. I've met a lot of moms who've had babies during the pandemic, and the stories have been decent to terrible. And so it has not been the greatest, but I've still seen people producing in this time. So it's all, like you said, it's all about the intentionality. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank
She's
you.
hilarious, by the way. So she's as funny as she's as fun as she looks. So yeah. Guys, thank you so much for being on. Dr. Judy, thank you so much for being on. Check out her. If you're not already following her on Facebook, check her out there. I've got your website, judyshawministries.org. Check her out there. Wherever she goes, just follow her and listen to every word she says. Yo, I feel so bad. My book's upstairs by my bed. And so it's a great place to have it, but I forgot to bring it down with me. Intentional and transformation. I'm so
Text
sorry.
me, inbox me, and you might get a free book. The first one inbox me, I'll give you a free book. I'll send you a free book. So
Okay.
I'm looking, see who inboxed me.
On
But
Facebook?
you can, on Facebook, or on Facebook, you can see that. It's Amazon, or you can inbox me, and I can have it sent to you. If you don't want to do Amazon, I can still have it sent to you. So yeah.
How generous. Look at you. So awesome. Guys, again, thank you for watching. Take out those notes, take out those phones, write it out, jot it down. What are you going to be intentional about this year? Boom. There we go. What are you going to be intentional about this year? Grab a friend, grab a partner, watch this again when you get tired, and just get re-energized, motivated again. It's time. You can do it. We believe in you, and you believe in you, number one.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you guys so much for watching Captivate TV. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We're going to be uploading more videos and recaps from our other conversations with our psychologists, counselors, and our wellness experts who came on to talk about those topics. Amazing. And I promise you, everything that comes through Captivate TV is going to be worth your time, just like tonight was. Yeah. So I hope you guys have an amazing night. Enjoy yourselves, and let's be intentional.
Yes.